So my mission inside of this whole thing, because I kind of just busted up into the space and continued to press on, because it's not really a very large community as far as worldwide population is concerned. There's less than 1% of people that are really taking in the agendas, and although it's growing, it's still a small community. And then inside of that small community, you have a certain area of people who control it. Basically, middle-aged to old white professors who are at universities who control the space, because most of the major conferences and things like this are at universities, and those universities, the professors put these things forward, or the psychedelic class go to the professors and the dean and the college, and they put forth these particular conferences that go on all over the world pretty much every week now, because everybody has their own, they're doing some type of experiments, or they're trying to push the space and things like that. And so I basically just busted up in there. So, you can, if you go back a few years, you'll see all white guys, and then you'll see me, and then they got a formula to be more inclusive, and got a pretty much formula to say, okay, we can get 3 women, we'll get that black guy from Detroit, and then we'll get a couple of indigenous people from Peru or something like that to come in, because they're going to be colorful and make things more legitimate. So this is how basically the space has been going. And so a few years back, I think it was 2014, that I had the conference in Detroit, and we said we need an urban conference, and we need to invite people who are actually doing the mushrooms and ayahuasca and other things that are, out here. But we need it to be urban, we need to be affordable, and we need to include women, because we had women's panels and all those different type of things, and it was very inclusive. We did have some white folks too. So it was kind of like this was a different type of conference, because, we didn't have Rick Doblin, and we didn't have, this person and that person who are usually at everything. And I'm not talking about Rick, I'm just using him as an example because he's at everything. So, and we didn't have sponsors, so we didn't have to make things palatable for any of the sponsors, go in a direction that they might not have been, in agreement with, which is one thing, the high dose, because we had people talking about high doses. We had women talking about psilocybin during pregnancy. We had women talking about psilocybin during delivery. We had women talking about psilocybin during breastfeeding. We had women talking about giving small amounts of psilocybin to their infants and young children. So these are things that, MAPS isn't going to touch that. The different groups aren't going to touch that, but that's what they came with, and that's what they want to do, because there are thousands of women during delivery of their babies taking psilocybin, and also during pregnancy. As a matter of fact, one of the speakers at the last conference that we had, his mother and father started him on psilocybin at 3 months old, and he was speaking at the conference, and he spoke about, as a young child, taking psilocybin throughout his life, So our conference was a little bit different than the usual conferences that went on. It was affordable, Most people in urban settings, they want to learn about psychedelics, they want to go to a conference, but, not everybody has enough money to go to Prague, and stay 5 days, hotel 5 days, and then pay for the conference and all of the things that goes along with it, food, and, it's just beyond the sensibility and scope of what many people would be able to do. You could do it because you can do anything, You buy bud, $50 a wop. If you take that $50 and put it in the bank most people every day, you put that money in the bank every day, you can save up enough money to be able to do that. But people, they just don't make that type of sacrifice. So our conference was a little bit different. It's coming up again in August 7th, 8th, and 9th in Detroit. the Detroit Psychedelic Conference. You'll see it on Twitter. Well, we'll be talking about it on Twitter. You'll see it on Instagram and Facebook also. You can Google my name and it'll bring all that kind of stuff up. You get in touch with me and see videos and other things.